What images come to mind when you think about Africa?
A lot of animals.
Millions and millions of flies.
Jungle.
Lion King.
Safari. Lions.
Giraffes.
Elephants and tigers.
What are the people of Africa like?
Kids that are like have big stomachs and like skinny legs.
Or that they're all suffering from famine and AIDS.
Black people.
They're not very educated.
Beat of the tom-toms to send messages from one tribe to another is still used by the natives.
Like savages, like in the jungle.
Are all designed to take.
What issues relate to Africa?
Country.
Underdeveloped countries.
Tribal.
Conflicts.
He's a boop titty boop titty boop 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 titty boop titty boop titty boop 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 boop.
People fighting over everything.
Female circumcision.
Ancient customs.
Hunger.
AIDS.
Instant AIDS.
Disease.
Adichie speaks about the one story of Africa. The concept of the one story is the perception a group of people have over another group of people. The one story people have in their mind is created by the popular media. The story told by the popular media has a tendency to focus on the differences between the social groups. These differences are accentuated by the negative aspects of the other culture. In the case of the one story created by American media of Africa, Africa is portrayed as a vast, primitive, natural landscape. The media makes little effort to present the diverse cultures of Africa, and is thus perceived as a monolithic tribal conflict zone. The issues facing this jungle war zone are so utterly hopeless if left to their own devices, or so it is shown by the media. People in America get the idea that the West is to pity Africa and to condescend to help it. The consequence of the one story, as Adichie says, robs Africans of their dignity. It also silences them by not allowing them to tell their own story.
Single story of Africa.
It's a story that sells.
What this demonstrates, I think, is how impressionable and vulnerable we are in the face of a story.
It's one big blur that the media keeps that perception going. It's because no one questions it.
The misperceptions about Africa and African people is because the West chooses not to want to know, because it's not for their benefit.
How to create a single story. Show a people as one thing, as only one thing, over and over again, and that is what they become.
I'm also not your average representation of like an African. No, there's a lot of huge diversity on the continent.
The West and our students keep on staying in the dark.
I did not know what African authenticity was. The professor told me that my characters were too much like him, an educated and middle-class man. My characters drove cars. They were not starving.
It's very modernized. It's very developed. I mean, we have the infrastructure. Cape Town, where I'm from, is like a huge like fashion capital. Johannesburg is the financial capital. It's like the New York of Africa.
Nairobi is modern. In the modern culture, in the modern world, it's always good to seek alternative information. But the dynamics of the African culture are so rich and powerful that if you care to listen to the Africans themselves, you'll find that they are just like us, except that their story is different.
Because of America's cultural and economic power, I had many stories of America. The single story creates stereotypes. And the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete.
Just that we're different. Our stories are different because we're different. It doesn't make them less civil.
The consequence of the single story is this: it robs people of dignity. It makes our recognition of our equal humanity difficult. It emphasizes how we are different rather than how we are similar.
Orientalism is similar to the one story in the way that it creates a one-dimensional perception of one group of people. Orientalism emphasizes the epistemology of the information presented. The information is presented as objective, unbiased scientific fact. However, it is one group of people who send their scientists, journalists, and writers to study the other group of people without reciprocating the access or taking the native knowledge of its own culture seriously. Then there is no possible way that the information is not biased. According to Edward Said, all information is politicized. In other words, there is a strategic interest for one group of people to dominate the perception of another group of people. The bias is purposeful because it allows the dominant culture to justify its interest in regards with the subjugated culture. It also serves to dehumanize a culture so that the constituents, if they matter, of the dominant culture do not question the morality or soundness of the dominant culture's policy towards the subjugated one. Arabs are presented as terrorists in movies, news, and academic studies, and therefore bombing is justifiable and desirable. Africans are uneducated, corrupt, and hapless. Therefore, aid and interference of their sovereignty is necessary and good.
Stories have been used to dispossess and to malign, but stories can also be used to empower and to humanize. Stories can break the dignity of a people, but stories can also repair that broken dignity.